When writing and describing the history of Kenya, historians focus on people who worked against the colonial government for a good reason. In this video, however, we will look at an unpopular figure. Ladies and gentlemen, Wangu Makeri. Wangu was born around 1856 in Fort Hall, which is the present-day Murang'a, a county dominated by the Kikuyu tribe. Like most natives at the time, especially as a lady, Wangu never stepped in school. Instead, she would spend her childhood working in her parents' farm. While working in the farm, Wangu meets the man who would marry her, and that is none other than Makeri Wambogo. The marriage between Wangu and Makeri would be interrupted by a colonial stooge, a paramount chief by the name Karuri Wagakure. The colonial government had appointed Karuri to be in charge of Fort Hall. Karuri got into an intimate relationship with Wangu, which angered her husband, Makeri. Like a cough, intimacy is hard to hide, and before long, Makeri learned about the affair and got mad. As a way of appeasing Makeri, Karuri offered Makeri the position of a headman. Makeri was fuming and declined it without a second thought. He would turn the offer to Wangu, which she accepted with open arms in 1902. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how Wangu Makeri would become the only female headman throughout the British colonial period in Kikuyu. Wangu would hit the ground running after becoming a headman at a time when the colonial government in Kenya had introduced taxation system. The tax system was known as hat and poll, whereby the headman would collect taxes based on a person's property, including heads of cattle, farm sizes, number of wives, and children. Wangu never smiled with anyone when tax came into place. She would move door to door with the help of local officers, collecting taxes and putting the tax evaders into solitary confinement. During meetings, or what is known as barazas, Wangu would never sit on the ground like other locals. Instead, she would order men to kneel on all fours, forming a chair-like shape, after which Wangu would sit on them. Wangu Makeri's fall from grace was preceded by a shameful dance. The Kikuyu male warriors had a special dance called kibata, and no woman was supposed to not only dance but pretend to practice or dance it. It is said that in 1909, her lover, Karuri, stood up to dance kibata. She was wowed at his moves and without wasting time, rushed into the dance floor to show her moves, which was a taboo. During the dance, she exposed her breasts and thighs, adding salt to injury. Some historians claim that her clothes fell off, leaving her naked. That notwithstanding, she would be forced to resign, and Ikaiwa Gathimba would take over as the headman. The once fierce Wangu Makeri would retreat to isolation and die in 1915. One of her sons, Mushiri, would become a headman for the colonial government later in future. Some historians say that the alcohol menace ravaging the central province started way back, and that is why Karuri appointed Wangu Makeri instead of other men after her husband refused the position of a headman. The alcoholism facing men would make the women take over leadership and rule with an iron fist. Anyway, that was it for today. Which other figure would you like me to discuss? Make sure you are subscribed to Retelling African History.